What's going on, guys? It's Luke here. Going to run through this trade recap from two trades today that we took both on ES. As you can see, we took a loss, then we ended up making it back with a beautiful win. We ended up getting 2.71R on this final winning trade, so we ended the day in some nice profit after taking that loss. Let's get right into this. So starting on the daily, coming into the market, we had seen that price had swept out this daily low, and then on ES, it had swept this daily low. And if you actually look at NQ, over here, NQ swept this low, but it failed to sweep this low right here. So we actually ended up having a bullish S&T off of these lows on the 4 hour, right? So if we go over here, we can see right here, we had a bullish S&T, and coming into the day, price was respecting and within this 4 hour bearish fair value gap. So my plan of action basically was, if we had a sweep higher, I was going to look for continuation sells to the downside, or if order flow maintained bullish, then I was going to look for longs to continue up and fill in the entirety of this 4 hour fair value gap. And it was just going to basically depend on the lower time frame, right? So let's skip ahead here. And I'm going to show you guys the draws and liquidity that I had basically marked out coming into market open. So we had this pre-market high right here. We had this hourly fair value gap, which was already within this big 4 hour FEG. So those were our buy side draws. And then for sell side, we had the pre-market open low. We had this 4 hour FEG, which ended up getting formed after the 9 a.m. close, but I'm just going to leave it there for now. We had the London low, and then we had this low down here, and then the Asia low all the way down here. So again, for me, what I was waiting for was just a sweep in one direction and either the continuations to the upside, or, if we get a reversal, then we're going to look for shorts to the downside. So as soon as market opened at the 9:30 candle, as you can see, we swept above those pre-market highs, and then we had a deep retracement. So as you know, we had news today at 10 o'clock. We had red folder news at 10, and after news or rate news, price came down and retraced all the way into this last 5-minute bullish fair value gap right here. So me looking at the 15, I see that the 15 is still technically in bullish order flow. The 5 minutes holding within this bullish FVG. If you look at the fib from here to here, it still closed above the 786 Fibonacci level. So for me, it's not the greatest bullish setup, because as you can see, we did run through this bullish FVG right here, and we were pulling in and retesting it, but we were holding this gap. I wanted to see price continue back up and fill in this hourly FVG above, because NQ had already filled it in on that 9 a.m. wick. So for me, I was like, okay, order flow is bullish. I want to see a continuation up. It's a little bit quick after the news, but you know what? I'm just going to go in for this one and kind of just see and just go for it, right? So this ended up being my entry right here at 10:03. I ended up getting just a nice fill on this pullback after this candle closed. We invalidated this bearish FVG on the 1 minute. We came up above it, retested it, and then we had a nice bullish close, which broke structure above these 1 minute highs. And I was targeting all of this low resistance buy side liquidity, but my main take profit was the start of this hourly imbalance. I put my stop below the 5 minute FVG because I figured if price is going to run through this, then the idea is kind of invalid, and then price is likely going to seek out this low, and then from there, we'll either look for continuation short, or we're going to look for a bounce to the upside. And we ended up getting stopped out of that trade fairly quick. We did get a poke into profit right here off this close. I thought we were going to gun up from there, and then we ended up coming down and sweeping out the pre-market low. I know a lot of people did end up catching shorts in there, and I was debating it, but I wanted to see that pre-market low get swept, and then from there I wanted to see longs, just because I did have a bullish bias after the news up into this hourly fair value gap, right? So after that, price came down and it swept out this pre-market low, and from here I wanted to see continuations up. I seen all this stacked up trendline liquidity right here, and I figured that price could come up and take this out. So I had two entries on this. The first entry was a bit aggressive, and I got a late entry on it. Unfortunately, I could have got a way better entry, but what I seen was a price just was building up all of these failure swings, and I figured price was going to run through these aggressively. So on the 1 minute, we inversed this bearish fair value gap. We came back up. We invalidated that, right? That was step one. Then we came into this little 1 minute FEG. We retested it. This was supposed to be my entry, but I didn't get a chance to click the button, and then this candle started to print. So then I just entered off of this candle. This was my first entry right here, which would be at 10:37. So I entered on this big breakout candle, put my stop below this 1 minute FEG down here, And that was my first entry. So as you can see, we poked into some nice profit and then we came back down. And this is where I got my second entry, which was my much better entry. So on the 5-minute, as you can see at this point, we had a shift to the upside and then we came back in and we respected this 5-minute bullish FVG. So at this point, we swept out a higher time frame draw on liquidity, which was at pre-market open low. We're respecting a 5-minute bullish FVG. We're at equilibrium. I want to see continuation up to take out this high, this high, this high, and then again, just fill in that FVG on the 1 hour, right? So we're respecting this 5-minute FVG. From here, I'm scaling down and looking for a re-entry. So I re-entered right here. As you can see, we had this 1-minute bullish fair value gap from that entry candle that we had. Price came back down and I waited basically for a bullish close out of that FVG. We ended up getting it right here on this 1-minute candle at 10:51. We closed above the bodies of these candles. It wasn't a break of structure, but good enough for me. So I entered there. Same stop loss as the original trade below this 1-minute FVG. And my first take profit was the start of this hourly FVG. So all the way up here. And my second and final take profit, I just put at the middle of this hourly FVG. I was going to leave a runner up to the top of this 4-hour fair value gap, but I just figured it was a little bit extended and I just wanted to kind of get out of the trade and walk away with my profits on this Friday. So again, first entry on this second trade was off of this breakout candle right here. Second entry on this close out of the fair value gap. Take profit one was at the start of the FVG, which gave us perfectly 2R, and then final take profit just a little bit higher at the end of this imbalance. We just trailed our stops on the way up and luckily got out of this one with about 2.71R total. So again, took this loss over here expecting the continuation up off this FVG, ended up getting swept below. Kind of my mistake, tried a long when we were so close to a high confluence draw getting taken out, which was this pre-market open low. I should have waited for this to get taken out. I could have definitely avoided that loss. And it was pretty quick after the news, which was probably a mistake on my part, but ended up capitalizing and walking away with profit, so can't complain. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be back with an outlook this weekend and probably some educational stuff too. I'm going to drop a video. I want to talk more about my continuation and how I trade with continuations more. So that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until the next one, give me a like, subscribe, comment on the video, follow me on Twitter, link in the description if you guys want to support the channel. Until the next video, I'll see you guys then. Peace.